Hi ho, track feedback we go. It's Wednesday. And I got the masters back for our techno compilation from Piv at Den Mastering, DEHN. They sound so freaking amazing and good. It's amazing and good. Good, my monitor screen is up. This is Danat's track playing right now. And I've been going through them like on loop, just really enjoying it. But I'm not really sure we have time to play them all. I would like to play every one of these tracks and just show you how good they sound. And especially because, you know, like after everything gets mastered, you can just put them in a playlist, press play, and listen to them all the way through. And they all come out sounding with the heavy low end comparable to each other. Perfect. So, you know, in track feedback, when we hear these tracks and we all like, you know, I turn it up a little bit or we imagine how we want it to be or give recommendations of what's going to make it like come up to like there to be done. And then when you actually hear it all being done, all the mistakes removed, all the amazing sounds are in place, and it just sounds so good and crisp. It's really a pleasure. So I'm happy about that. John Madison, Sheppers, Oliver, Mr. Milvis, Morton's here. Oh, Matt Schultz cutting some Alan Watts in there. And I just jumped into it. All right, so let's play some music. I got a bunch of tabs open. Discord is closed. We're going to start off with Todd Mavis. And as always, thanks for hanging out. And thanks for people who joined in yesterday for the first Ableton Production Series, Ableton Production Techniques series. I started with some EQing and filtering. So basically for the month of June, I'm going to do all of the EQing I can possibly teach in 4 weeks. It's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays, noon, a lot of repetition where I kind of use the same tools on different sounds and show you like the frequency sweep technique, you know, cut before you boost. We're going to do that on a lot of different sounds. So it's okay if you miss one of the earlier episodes, you'll still get the basic techniques and principles and you'll see them applied in different situations from bus groups, stereo drums. We EQ'd a reverb yesterday that was really fun. We talked about sub bass and kick drum. As always, you want to learn about how to EQ those and get them fitting together. So tomorrow at noon is another one, and you can come and ask me questions about what you need help with in your EQ and filter frequency world, because I know you're all a bunch of frequencies. All right, music. Melody came in just a little bit earlier. Okay. The opening sounded like a really cool 90s hip hop track where there was about to be like a deadly MC coming in. Oh, Max is here. And the melody entered. I was really into that beat. I was ready for a bass line to drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Yeah, we only had 2 bars of the beats before the melody came in. This should be a good 4 bars, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. Give us like 4 bars of this beat, and then, well, let's see what else happens. Sounds kind of creepy, like Nonfiction, if you know the group Nonfiction. Piano, bass, beats, creepy melody, and then like, look up the track Black Helicopters in the Sky, Black Helicopters, for an illustration of that. Mix reference for this track, because I think this would be a good one to mix. I can tell that you want it. Yeah. Good vocal presentation. I like it. I'm digging it. Nick Lab. All right. Hey, Jens, I see you there. Good sound. Minute 30. That was a cool transition. Wow. I like the beats a lot. This part is cool, and it feels like we're in the ending section of a song where the lyrics have gone by, and we're in like a nice long dance break at the end. But I can see that we're in the middle, so I'm like wondering what else is gonna happen. But it's all right, you know. This does not have to match like an R&B album. Watch that S. Especially because the S went up into the reverb and that sh. Let me go back and grab some frequencies that you want to do on the de-esser. $8K. 9.5, 10K. Okay, so with that vocal, the ch and the S sounds are really sharp and crisp and like super bright at 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. So I would recommend a de-esser on there, and go to the reverb and put a notch EQ in the reverb to make sure that the reverb swell doesn't amplify that frequency. Oh, Shepherds reminds me of old Cypress Hill. That transition sound that goes meow, that's a great sound. Bassline's feeling good. From what I'm hearing, the low end could be a little bigger. What language is that? I'm not sure. This is really good. I mean, it's playable right now. I'm curious what the person's saying because I can't quite understand it, which makes it cool. That chord is nice. That second chord. What's that static that comes in at 1.5 seconds? Do you hear that? There's like a white static that comes in like at 1.5 seconds. It's okay to have that static in there. I'm just curious, what are you doing to make that sound? It's like if you put the beginning of a vinyl sample and you start to hear the record crackle before the sample. So the main thing is give us 4 bars of beats before anything else comes in from right here. That thing I counted in. And this part, the kick is great. Personally, I would go to the kick drum channel and boost up the low shelf at 80 hertz, like plus 3 dB, so the kick drum is even beefier. The bass line's good, but that kick can really... This is the kind of track where it's almost like you can't have too much kick drum because it could just like... Boop, 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 boop. All right, cool. The de-essing is the other mix note. That's the only thing that jumped out at me as like weird or wrong in the mix. Everything else sounds really, really good. You could, there's some nice mid-range instrument layering. So my first feeling on the piano was you could even dull it down a little bit more with like a high shelf EQ coming down a few dB to make it like a muted, muffled sort of sound. Not like muffled like underwater, but just take the brightness off the piano, because later on over here, the plucky melody and the strings are doing a whole lot of nice stuff in the upper mids, and the piano doesn't need to have that like front, like clink clink, glassy sound, you know? So That'd be a tone shaping thing. You know what? Just do those basic updates. Mainly make the intro a little bit longer, and this could be done on the next mix. It's really good. It's a great vibe, and also it's really impressive to hear how much you have adapted to new styles, started new styles, and nailed them on the first try. Like that other chill out track you had, we were heading on to that, and this one feels like completely believable or authentic as a production. It doesn't feel like, sometimes you hear tracks that it just sounds like someone slapped together like a drum loop and a piano, and then it's like a Verizon ad or something. And I love it when I hear tracks that are like brand new and they don't have that kind of like pasted together vibe. It feels like it was made. Good. Okay, got the feedback. All right. Nick Lab. Here we go, Nick. EQ flat, stereo wide. Whoa. Creepy deep. Checking the update notes in Discord here. Okay, right there, that resonance, hold on. Was that around 1,000? Right there, 1.08. That one spike is too much of the resonance. So pull that down, please. That breath is awesome. Yes. Wow. Nice bottom. Wow. Yeah, we know what DJ Waters is imagining. Coming in at 85 here, BPM. Maybe it's 84. What was that? A double bass bump right there. That was really good. Ba-ba-bum. That rhythm with the bass note and the kick drum roll. And the glide. This is deep, man. What's that little melody? So the little high frequency melody, there's a little melody entrance that came in that sounded like a string thing that I would like to be a little bit louder on top because there's room for the crisp highs. And then really watch out for that resonance around 1K, 1.1. Right here, melody's cool. And those resonances right there. That one. I wasn't ready for that new snare. Hold on. The clap. Okay, there's a couple different clap layers I hear, right? All right. When we change to the other snare, That new snare feels like too much of like a dubsteppy, predictable sort of a snare sound. I really like the clap layering that was going on before, and I think it would work to keep the one that was there before. Let me know what you guys think. Love that bass line. Do-do-do-do-do. Let's go mono. There's some great stereo energy in this track. I'm liking that. Great sound design. I don't even want to talk on this. Oh, Nick, good. I see your comment about the snare. Yeah. Yeah, when I heard that new snare at this middle section, I instantly thought that's a cliche dubstep snare sound that the track doesn't need, and it took me out of the vibe that was in there before. Everything else about this transition I really liked, and I think it works as one long track. Oh, Max, okay, maybe lost a bit of kick punch after the drop in the middle. Yeah, I was about to comment at this ending section. I was starting to wonder, you know, I need some reference mixes to compare this and think maybe the actual mid-range is creeping up in the mix louder than the low end. So we're kind of, I mean, the bass is still there and it's like not going away, but the mids are really stacking up. You can see on the spectrum line, it's almost getting like horizontal. The bass is there, but for the second time today, you could have a little bit more bass, maybe on the, maybe that would be like a mastering thing. And let's check the ending. Shepherds, too many good sounds occupying the same frequency range. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. It's a busy mix. Morton, good idea with some automation to make space with different things. Yeah, I didn't really hear any sounds that I would want to mute or delete, like completely. But I guess there's like the vocal is pretty cool, and the pluck lead are sort of competing in the same area. So that might be a priority thing where you have to pick like one section of the song and have the vocal be really out front, and then pull it back and have the plucks come in and kind of like take the lead for the next 8 bars or something, and go across time and just pull one element up and down so that they're not, so you don't have to make them all loud all the time, you know? Beautiful energy, really nice vibe. We had a little problem around 1K, 1.2 with some resonant stuff and a few different sounds, so watch out for that area. And maybe check your room if you got like a little notch somehow in your frequency response in your room, you might be accidentally boosting up your mix, or not noticing that it's boosted like that. And super cool sound design, and the bass line where there was that roll with the do-do-do thing. Oh, John called it with the tipper. Okay. Right there. Do-do-do. So, production technique that anybody can use. Can't turn this off. Put your bass notes exactly on your kick drums when you're making kick drum fills or rolls or turnarounds at the end of a section to make like some emphasis. You know, we're always talking about like having a reverse kick drum or doing the double bumps like but like OSP is doing. One really fun thing is if you combine the bass notes and the kicks together, it makes this super attention grabbing sound. So much so, in fact, there was a bass patch on a Yamaha keyboard. I had a Yamaha piano, like a full 88 key weighted keyboard when I was in school. And there was a patch with bass. It was a split patch where the right hand was piano, the left hand was bass, but every note had a ride cymbal on it. So if you played the bass notes, it was like do, 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 do. You would get a bass note with a ride cymbal to give you a percussion, the feel of like a drummer and a bass player kind of jamming while you were doing your right hand solos. which was confusing for me until I figured out like, oh, that's giving you a percussion bass part layered together. And it's a really good effect. So try layering, I mean, if you want to get crazy and try actually layering a kick drum with your bass patch, so every MIDI note that you hit as a bass note has a little more bump from a thump type thing. And then just make sure that's not totally competing with your main kick drum. That could be cool. Just some ideas, and I like the graphics that go with the word breathe. So Nick, I hope that's enough notes to make an update. This track feels super amazing, and it sounds like it's almost done. So just a couple things to make it a little bit better. And it should be ready. DJ Waters is here, cool. Not sure what's gonna happen now. Let's see if I can leave the master level right here at the drop. One more time. Let me just see that. That's a lot of bass in that vocal. It works right there, but when that vocal plays later in the track, it should have less bass in the vocal sample. Yes. I like that. Whoa, 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 whoa. I think the sub bass layer of the kick could be bigger. And that frequency, like around 250 or 200, that range could come down a little bit, I think. So what I'm doing right there is boosting and cutting like around 200. Listen to how it changes. Oh, now it's all different sounds. I'll wait. So that was me making it like wah, wah, wah. That lead sounds good. I like it. Again with the kick drum rolls today. 206, that was awesome. Oh, I love it. I'm like singing along. Yeah, man. I like this kick buzz. What was that? Okay. There's a new bass sound that sounds like underneath. At 234. Can that be louder? That sound is cool. So right back there was the fuck it up that needs to have not so much bass. At 253.
No.
Oh no! What just got super wide right here? Amazing sound design. Yeah. Could you make that part louder? I mean, longer? We were talking about doubling this part right here. Seven. Oh, this is so good. 8 right here. Yes. How? Yeah, watch the low end in that vocal. Good, good, good. That was insane. That ending sound went like a whoosh into the vocal. Right there, it was like, and it turned into the... That's nice. The ambassador of Frenchcore strikes again. Chaos, madness, and mayhem for sensitive souls. And a nice little ending. So again at the beginning, I'm not sure which layer this would apply to, but I want to go to that 200 hertz EQ frequency. Just boost and cut one more time to illustrate what I'm hearing. So here we go. Here's the flat EQ. That's boost, flat, cut, boost. So Ian, let me know if you hear that and feel what I'm doing right there. That somewhere between 150 and 300, there is something that's like, to me, it reminds me of like if you take a big piece of plywood and you're dragging it on the ground and it's resonating at that bumpy, scratchy frequency. And when I suck that part down, it feels like, oh, the low end cleans up and gets heavier, sort of. Not that we want it clean, but it's like more clearly heavy. And it kind of takes out a little bit of the scratchiness that's holding me back in my world. And this music feels like what I hear in my head when I'm waiting in line anytime, and I'm just like, come on. I just need to visit. Where is she? I love that.
No.
Is it my turn yet?
No.
Damn. Super awesome. Let's check the final ending tails. Did we get an ending, or does it drop off a cliff? Ooh, was that a hint of a new bass line? We didn't hear that bass line, did we? Hangover emulation. Do not play this when you have a hangover, you'll just die. So the last very end, you had a little hint of a bass line for maybe another track. That is super good. It's playable now. Oh, Morton, 155 is the magic frequency, 160 hertz. Are you guys responding to that low end EQ thing I was doing? Because 160 is like the ugly little cousin of 320. You might want to check out both of those. So good. I don't know if I'm ready to move on yet, but I feel like we have to move on. Ian, that shit is great. It's so entertaining. There's just so much going on and it changes all the time. One thing that you're really improving with is using lots of different kick drum layers and alternating which ones are happening, but keeping it consistent for the feel of the track. So every different section you can like click through and you're always getting slammed with like this nice hard layer of something. And it has a different flavor every time, which is really fun. That makes it awesome to listen to. And it's rhythmically tight. Like when you do those kick drum rolls, those are sounding really good. All the high frequency stuff was cool too. The leads, nothing was like too scratchy or scrapey on top. The fuck it up vocal needs to have less bass so you can pull it into the mix when everything is crowded and have it even louder. So cut the bass, turn it up, and let's move on to OSP. Okay. That's a nice big round kick drum. Boom, boom. Are these sounds from Operator? Is this like, I know you were making a lot of sounds in Operator a while ago. What is that synth? Doo-doo-doo-doo. That really soft one? I'll be right back. I gotta step around the screen. Gotta keep the fan on so I don't have an overheating issue. Oh, Scott, you gotta go. Coming back later. All right. We don't have a track from you this week, right? Yes. Okay, you're last. So Canada will be on last. Reactor. Okay, no operator. All right. I like the sounds. Nice and soft. Those plucks could be louder, that little arp. I like where this is going. Nice drop. One more time. Could you keep the pluck arpeggiator going? That gap felt somehow like it was a little bit missing something. I like how the synth stopped and got buzzy and stopped. But right there at 235, I feel like that melody arp should be a continuous thing, so we can just ride on that sound and then have the drop come in. That was my reaction. What do you guys think? Yeah, the build was great. That sound, that's like a Matt Schultz sound. Perfect melody entrance. And structurally, everybody, new melody, new percussion layer, totally makes a new energy level. The vibe in this is crazy. Feathery cymbals, Nick. Great sounds. Okay, coming up on a change right here should be, right? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect structuring. I don't know, I didn't count that, but I felt that was the right moment for something to change, and it just went right there. This melody is cool. I'm going to my high shelf EQ. those are the OSB double bumps. Classic. Boom, right there, yeah. I feel the mix could use a little bit of high end. This little ping melody, like the little bells, could be a little louder and just a little brighter on top. Tiny detail. Overall, the feeling of the mix is a nice like tonal balance. And the instruments are amazing how they fit together. Another way to describe space in the mix is when you only have one sound in each frequency range, so it's really easy to just push faders. Like, here's your kick drum, here's your bass line, here's that one pad synth, here's the melodies up on top, the drums fit all around it, and you get that sense of like, whatever sound you like, you can put it up a little bit and hear the difference, or pull it down a little bit and hear the difference, and there's not so much going on that you get lost of like which layer is which, you know. Nice reverb on that, what was that, a shaker? Or whatever percussion that like. Yeah, timing is excellent. Phrasing, I guess, or song structure. Coming down into the, coming in for a landing. The swing is cool. It's like boom, 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 boom. That upbeat. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. What is happening? I think Ian, I like the ending. I think Ian commenting about the false drop was there, right? And I was suggesting is just keep the melody going. I've tried to fill in the melody for you. Alex B. Matt Schultz, I agree. From what I can tell, this one is done. I would like a little bit of high shelf in the mastering stage to brighten up some of the percussion in that one melody that's like the bells kind of thing later on. That little sound, the chwam, is great. This little bell sound could either be a little louder or just, like in this case, I wouldn't turn up the volume on that channel. I would just take a high shelf EQ and do like 2 or 3 dB of boost, which is essentially going to be raising the volume anyway, using EQ. Such a nice feel. And the instrumentation and everything. Was that... That's almost 7 minutes and it just feels like just hanging out. So the question is, what are you doing at the end here that makes it sound granular? Go, go, go. It's like getting mutated or something, but it's not just a low pass filter. I like how it fades out a lot. The Matt Schultz, not just any Matt Schultz. Thanks for the reference tracks. Luctum Tristesse Contact from Collective Turnstruss. Not sure if I'm reading the R's and M's right. Max, if I'm picky, I could say the drum selection and storytelling doesn't fit that much. Drums are suggesting house and tech house, but the track is smoother than this. That's interesting. The drums are suggesting tech house, but the track is smoother? So are you talking about the drum sounds or the programming pattern? I wasn't quite sure. Oliver, okay, so a convolver or something to do the bitrate reduction at the end. It was a cool sound. It had like that crinkled, like crunchy, like if you take a plastic bag and wrinkle it up and it's like wrinkly. Max, let us know what you're talking about with the drum selection and storytelling part. Because for me, storytelling is like how the song progresses. And for this track, the flow was just amazing. There was like nothing that I thought had a confusing moment in the story. Some drum tips. I don't know. I'm interested to see what other people's comments are. And for me, I'll leave that open so we can come back to it. Let's take a little minute and dip into the world of Donats. And he's sleeping in Australia right now. So everybody send him telepathic messages for a dream. And maybe we can enter his dream and he'll be like dreaming he's DJing. And everybody's going doop, boop, 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 boop. It could happen. I don't know. Morton, better to leave that boost for the mastering stage. You're probably totally right. When I'm talking about a high shelf, listen to SoundCloud. Don't listen to me. That's a mastering decision. Max, maybe drum pattern and some of the sounds. I mean, I noticed that it doesn't have that big clap like we got right here, like good. It's much more of like a low, like shuffle kind of groove, which I thought fit the track pretty well. So maybe this is a situation of needing a stem remix from Mark Troy. Let me check the changelog on Underground Soul. I think it's brand new. Okay, another early mix, early version. Wondering if it feels a bit slow. That's a great question to ask, because there's a lot of things that could be in a track that contribute to the feeling of being too slow, even if the BPM is fast. So I like that. That's a fun problem to try and solve. I like how that came in and dropped. That was a nice build up. Womp, 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 womp. Good rhythm. I like the snare or the clap reverb. I like that percussion layer is coming in, it's building. Let me go back a minute here. Before the cymbal crash, could you cut out the kick drum? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. The way that cymbal came in, it had that feeling of like pushing, and there wasn't like any moment to pull back before the cymbal crash. If I could count that and nail it, this would be a great place to just mute 4 kick drum beats, 1 bar before the crash. Because it almost feels like the whole track is a 1 bar loop that's just going and going and going, and we need something a little more like signaling to make sections. But here we are. Jazz is and shit like that. It's still going on. Police. Cops and all that shit. It's real. It's real. Yeah, it's like go to like it's not what I do with it. Underground. Yeah. Pretty soon it would be good to get the vocal out and let us have just the music. Yeah, 249, I would not bring in the new sample of no. Like, we need a moment to like be in the music of just the instruments without the vocal sample being always there. Yeah, those instrument sample chops are really cool. This vocal thing belongs in a breakdown so we can actually understand it. All right, so structurally from this build up at 230, 234, The word underground is okay because it faded down, but we should have it all the way out to all the way out to 3:30, like a whole minute with no other new vocal samples. And then when you come back here, it's kind of like returning to something familiar instead of having too much of something all the way through. So don't be afraid to take away the good parts and bring them back better later. This is me pushing up the volume. Clubbable, I like that word. Clubbable. And overall, this does not feel slow to me, or doesn't feel too slow. It'd be nice to strip down the percussion pretty soon and get down to just like one hi-hat groove, kind of. And specifically, the hi-hat pattern is like, there's like a double kind of thing. If you could get it back to just a single one, so it's like, that's a good build. So what I would do is here at 450, just go to a single hi-hat. So it's like boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick. It would feel deep and like harder actually with less percussion at this part. Too soon for more vocals. So like take the underground out. I like the instrumentation, the bass line and the whatever that loop is, that guitar kind of thing. I like that. And I like the overall rhythmic pattern of like bum, 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 boom, boom, bum, bum, bum. That's a nice dance thing to play with. So this track is a winner. It's definitely going to work. Essentially, you have all the right parts and sections and everything moving, so just strip out some of the vocals in places where you don't need to have them in. And for a general producer tip, the danger here is that when you have your own music on, you get so used to it that you stop noticing it. So that one loop that we're noticing of like, oh, the lyrics are in all the time. When you're the person who made that track, it's easy to forget that that's still there. Let me go back and play this one more time right here. It's still going on. It's real. It's real, yeah. It's like, you can go through life and act like it's not, but I deal with it every day. Sheppers listening to a CD skipping. Giving us the reverb. Cool, that's a fun track. So I hope that's not too vague if I just say strip it down, right? But start by taking out some of the vocal, and then after the halfway point, try to thin down the percussion and see, like, for an experiment, maybe go to like here, right? 5 minutes, and get it down to just one closed hi-hat only for the top loops. Keep the kick drum, obviously, and the snare or clap layers. But other than kick and snare, just have one closed hi-hat and see how that feels. Because sometimes when you pull back all the other shakers and hi-hats and like rattles and stuff, a simple closed hi-hat can just be so much impact, like boom, chick, catch it. It just gives you like the pure beat, you know? Yeah, it's a good groove. It's got the Donat signature all over it. So keep working on that one. Unstable Mix 2. What is happening with you? I'm going to check the Discord notes. Ooh, that feels good already. Oh, this is the one we played right after Randy Adams last week, right? And we were like, put those two together. And you actually described what we were just talking about, working too much on it, losing perspective. So let's see. So far feels great. Sorry, my phone is blowing up. I'm gonna look at this. Yes. This is growing. Oh my god, that kick drum pattern is great. Boom, boom, boom. .130 could have a little bit of a crash on there, like a light, like a China crash. Yeah. I think the clap could even be a little louder. That's a little boost up at like 3K. Get that crack on there. Max, is this a new track or did we play the first version before? I thought we played it once already. Doesn't matter, this is in good shape so far. Yeah. So this is a great example of how you can have one sound, use some sound design to tweak it while we're hearing it. The sound changes over time, and that creates an event in the track, so you don't really need to do a whole bunch of other stuff. It's just we're listening to the sound kind of burn through a filter, and that's really interesting. Oliver, great and done. Yeah. Those bass notes. Yes, man. All the effects, the reverb is feeling very natural. This is sounding good. I'm having a hard time thinking of anything useful to say. Nice. Yeah, man. So Donat's example of a big simple drop, right? Strip everything out, and then you can layer it back in. What was that? What was that? That sound is really cool. Those are so good. They're so loud. Those bass stabs and buzzy. I think this track is going to seriously take people to another place. Like, it's got that feel of being really continuous, and it has build-ups and drops, but it's also abstract, and there's like surprises coming and going. Oh, good percussion layer, like ding 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 ding. It's growing again. I think we're done, man. I like the little slide leading into that percussion part. It's like brings you in. And a nice solid mix out right here. Oh my gosh, dreamy and urgent at the same time. Yeah, the bottom layer is like ding 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 ding, like very driving, and then on top all this other stuff is abstract and floating around. I lost track of how many sounds there are that are interesting. I want to go back to this one though. That right there at 554. That and that and that. They work so well together. They're all like coming in to say something and they're not on top of each other. Really nice. Yeah. It's like a conversation between these different synths. These are my bass puppets. And mixing the new track in right here, coming in. Mark and Randy make me jealous too. I know, I'm listening to this shit and I'm like, All right, Mark Troy, our friend Max. I don't hear anything critical that has to change at all. Unless I said it at the beginning and forgot. It's just so easy to listen through. I mean, the mix, everything in the mix is in the right place, in the right position. So I would put this up for mastering and move on. It really feels done. Claps. And that sound, it like goes. And this. People are gonna love that. That's gonna be great. Nice work, nice work. All right, we got Jens. Let me make sure everybody, is Ben here? Ben Hunt's here, right? And Ian's gonna wait. So we do Jens, Ben. And we got a visitor from Hawaii. Hello. What sound system are you listening on? How Nani Jaime? Are you in the headphones? Or wait, Alex? Oh, Matt Schultz, yeah. No, it's not a bad thing to appreciate other people's production as long as you put in time on your own. So Jens, what are the instruments coming through on here? I'm getting that modular feel again. That's a nice wet reverb on these. Let me check the change log here. Okay, some of those low do like floor tom type drum sounds. I'm gonna go back and hit mono on these. I would probably EQ a little bit on those. And let's see what happens. Wait, where did they go? Okay. There's a low floor tom type sound that's going do 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 do, right? You can hear it right here. Now when I go in mono, where did it go? I think that's the best example of phase cancellation we've ever had on track feedback. That sound is almost completely gone in mono. And in stereo, it's a real big boof, boof, boof. Here's mono. So you got to fix that. Up until now, I like all the sounds and the groove and everything. I'm really feeling we could use some more percussion coming in. You know, some hi-hats and stuff. Yeah, Mr. Melvis waiting for a snare hat, something, yeah. I like this bass. What happened here? The kick drum got different, or did you mute a layer? Something dropped out and the kick drum sounded big and bassy. That's a nice instrument. Okay, I hear a subtle hi-hat now. I like your choice of sounds. Alex B is salty today. Why are all these people making so many tracks? I like those filters moving. This is a place for a calm percussion thing. Just a little closed hi-hat, like a thin, small closed hi-hat. Really subtle. That's cool. That's a good melody. Filling up the high frequency area where we haven't had anything yet. So another way of saying, why am I talking about hi-hats and stuff? Well, there's like a lot of high frequency space before this little synth line came in, where you could put in some high frequency percussion, just get like a little extra shuffling groove on top to go with the buzzing synth. Zicka, 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 zicka. Yeah, good movement on the synths for sure. So there's no drums yet. So Jens, that's like your process is making basically, is it like you put down a kick drum for a placeholder and then you record all your synth layers on top and then you do your drums last? Because actually it's playable. I mean, you could put this on and just beat lock and start layering up your own drums in a DJ set and have other stuff come in to... Yeah. That synth is cool. Okay, I'm gonna skip out a bit. Good 7 and... These synth layers are perfect. Like, that's the strong point for sure. Life in studio is emotional roller coaster. Yeah. Whoa, everything's great. Oh my God, I hate it. Ah. Everybody's like that. Just here's the thing. Everybody in the world, everybody watching this, watching on the replay, if you're watching 5 years from now, listen, you're always going to feel like your track sucks. It's going to sound boring, sound like crap, make you feel like shit, and you're going to listen to somebody else and think it sounds amazing. Don't do that. Just recognize like that's like part of DJ life or producer life, and keep going with your track. Take a break, listen to something else, come back to it, and recognize, just make it a point to recognize the good parts of the track, and that'll prevent you from trying to add extra stuff all the time, and it'll prevent you from deleting it and starting over. So if you have a track that you absolutely hate and you cannot stand listening to it for one more second, what you should do is mute almost everything and find like the one original idea that was in the track that made you excited in the first place, turn that up loud, and then start adding minimal pieces to get a piece of music. So it might be like you had a cool synth idea, so put that up, add the kick drum, and then see how few layers you can add and still have it sound like music. Because if you can get away with a kick drum, a snare drum, a hi-hat, and a bass line, if that's all the track needs to be sounding really cool, you could stop there and just export that and then slowly decide what else it needs. Don't fall into the trap of A, deleting the track and throwing it away, or B, thinking that it needs more to get better, because a lot of times more is not better. Says Steve. Matt Schultz, let go, do my own thing. Better and better. Alex, I think your music totally does evoke the same emotional the same strength of emotions that other people's music does. So I think you're in the producer bubble. We're all in the producer bubble. Jens, bring this back with some hi-hats and whatever you're going to do with your percussion. And technically speaking, when you have a phase problem, meaning that the stereo signal, something disappears when you go from stereo to mono. If you have that problem, there's some ways you can fix it. The first thing is remove any stereo effects you have on that sound and just get the dry sound and figure out what is it doing that sounded good. Maybe if there was a delay or whatever it was, and put on a phase meter, which is goniometer. Maybe crank it up and get some level coming through this thing. I wish I could solo that one sound though. I don't know if you can see, but when there's a couple moments when that low like kick drum sound hits and that phase meter goes to the negative side. So basically what I'm saying is take the one sound, put a phase meter on it. If the needle is going to -1, meaning they're out of phase, then you want to correct that. You could do it by removing effects, checking the stereo width, aligning the two halves of the sound. If you have a sound that happened to get recorded with a slight misalignment of the left and right signal, when they combine, they could be out of phase. I'm talking milliseconds, not like something you could visually see, but like in a tiny amount. And Scott is back, great. Use the utility plugin, 55% width, usually removes majority of phase issues. That's a great tip. Utilities. Let's try that. This is not on my output of the audio, but okay. Here's the utility plugin. I'm in 11, live 11. So width down to 0 is kind of like hitting the mono switch. So if you wanted to like take that one sound and drop a utility plugin on there, play with the width control to see how that makes the volume drop, meaning hear the moments when it's out of phase or in phase, and find a way to get it working. Possibly do some bass mono for like up to 200 hertz or something, so that the low end part of it is like giving you the rhythmic push, and then the upper part of it has a stereo width to sound interesting. And that's a good challenge, because you know, stereo sounds good and everybody likes it, but it has to also work in mono. And this track feels good. I like the just the feel of it. It has a nice flow, nice synths, nice like sonic universe you're coming from. Mindbender, use mid-side EQ for phase issues. That's another thing you could do that I'm not gonna talk about right now, because I'm doing a series called Ableton Production Techniques on Tuesdays and Fridays at noon, where I go into EQing and filtering and actually show you solutions that we talk about. This is a great example. I'm taking just a quick moment to promote this because I want everybody to know about it and tell other people if you know somebody who needs to learn about basic EQing, including the theory of what is the range of human hearing? What is the frequency range we work with in live? And my most favorite thing is using Spectrum Analyzer to read what's in the little box, put your mouse on the line, and read the frequency. Put the mouse on that note. It says 1.26 kilohertz, D sharp. I mean, who knows if it was a sharp D sharp or a little bit flat out of tune, but the point is, using Spectrum can make the connection for you between the notes in the melodic scale, which could be your bass line or your melodies or whatever. Connect those notes to the actual frequencies and hertz so that when you're EQing your sounds, you know which part to boost, which part to cut out, and you can make your whole mix get glued together with that big, spacious, open, clean sound instead of like EQing in solo mode for 5 hours and then you put it back in the mix and it still sounds bad. So we're doing another one tomorrow at noon, and if you're new to the Mixotexture universe, that's coming from courses.mixotexture.com. There's a whole product called How to EQ Your Tracks, where I'm literally teaching what's in this product on live streams to get it out there and explain this stuff that we talk about on track feedback, because I know there are people who don't. You know, it's that thing where someone explains it and you can kind of follow along, but if you want to know how to do it yourself, you got to get a little more theory and experience and practice with some presets and hands-on activities. So that's where I'm coming from with that. I'll tell you more about that at the end. And let's go on to Ben Hunt. Is Ben still here? Oh, Todd's taking off. Get out of here, man. Give us 4 bars of beats or else. Later, Todd the tater. Later, taters. Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt. Calling Ben Hunt. Okay, we are back in stereo, EQ flat. And Ben is coming up in the techno arena now. That's an interesting kick drum. That has a ping on it. Ping, ping. Whoa, big effects. Oh, Ben, you just got back. Good timing. We just started your track. Yeah, that bass for sure. Okay, that one squiggly synth could use a whole bunch more delay and reverb on there. That one, put some delay on that. That's cool. I would keep the open hi-hat a more simple pattern at that change. Right here, I would just have it be like just a simple open hi-hat on the upbeat 8th notes. Because the other hi-hat's doing the fast shuffle, and there's a lot of things that are like kind of off, boom, boom, like syncopated a bit. I could use one closed hi-hat anchor. Nice transition right there. Tapping it out, 122, 123. Filtering down the kick drum. Are you gonna bring in a flanger? I wanna hear a flanger. Yeah, man. The closed hi-hats are really cool. It's like spitting. It's like, which is great. Nice, nice. That double kick drum bump. perfect moment. I don't know if that was the end of a 16-bar phrase or something, but I was waiting for something. He gave it to us. That's what you got to do. This is good sound. I like that layer coming in. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I would like to recommend that you cut the kick drum out somewhere in here. Let's count this out. Done. 309. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Coming up here, I would cut the kick. 8, 2, 3, 4. So at 325, cut out the kick. 2. Let's count that back in. So, okay, 1. Let's pretend the kick is out. 2, 3, 2, 4, 2. Totally. When that new sound is coming in, have no kick for 8 bars. And yeah. These sounds are crazy, dude. The synths have a bounce in them. I like that fast closed hi-hat a lot. Really makes it work. The open hi-hat, it sounds really good right here when the open hi-hat stopped. Van Hunt gives any track the old school Underworld 1996 vibes. And this has like really interesting sounds. So major potential with this one. Whoa. Oh, this is awesome. All right, I could definitely butter my muffin to that beat. These hi-hats, they feel like really cool. So would really make a difference. Just a steady closed hi-hat, any place the open hi-hat, steady open hi-hat. So any place in here where you have this open hi-hat, if you really, really love it, turn it down a little bit and add a second one that's really, really bright and like hissing to be on top, just for the continuity and smoothness of the groove. Because there's a lot of other stuff that's like coming in and out, not polyrhythmically, but kind of syncopated kind of thing. And it could use a little bit more of a steadiness energy. One last groan from the machine at the end there. And then cut the kick drum out for 8 bars, like we were talking about in the breakdown. Let's hear this ending again. That's funny. All right, let's do Scott Burke because he's here, and then we'll come back and finish up with DJ Waters. Stereo EQ flat. And this is, let me check the update on this one. This is for a remix you're doing, but this is not version 1, right? Yeah, this is like an updated version, but the file, you just swap the audio file to make it saver. Bass part is cool. It has that galloping. Okay. Could we have a little more mid-range on the vocal? The vocal seems it's like a lot of it above 2K. I'm guessing there's some more like warmth and body like in the lower mid-range of the vocal. So I don't know if you have it EQ'd up high. I think it could fill up a little bit more of the lower part of the mids. It works like there. It's not bad, but it feels a little thin, you know? Percussion is cool. Seems to be okay in mono. It does sound sort of like a Maceo Plex type thing. That's a nice compliment. I like how the bass line changed here for like the chorus. Yeah, man. I want to hear that again. How did we get to the chorus? I like when the bass line goes down deep. That feels good. Alex B, thanks for hanging out, man. Yeah. That's a good stereo delay on that synth. Nice pacing, waiting to bring in that hi-hat. Had a drop with just a kick and a snare. Nice and minimal. That lead synth is awesome. Is there detuning going on? I suspect Scott Burke. A little bit? Yeah, wow. And by the way, that kick drum is nice and heavy, holding it down the whole time.
My love and my fear, forever
You're going for it with the dramatic empty drop, man. Okay, what are you guys talking about? The lead, doubling, the rolling synth. Oh, okay, so Max, you're talking about making some variations so we don't hear that lead so often. Nice percussion, really cool. And Oliver, what are you hearing? Where are you hearing the soft clipping? Is that in the whole mix? Like, I'm curious how you picked out that you're hearing soft clipping, because I didn't. I think Scott's usually doing something on the master channel to export a nice loud mix during test mixes. So maybe we're hearing just like a rough master. Is that right, Scott? This synth is cool too. Okay, every kick hit in the snares and shakers.
My city's on fire.
Nice, nice, nice. Damn, Oliver heard it. Scott said it. Now that I think about it, I can hear what you're talking about, but I didn't think of that as a thing to comment on. This section is crazy. Let me roll it back a little bit. I think I'm usually seeing comments like a minute, 45 seconds late. So this part, yeah, so Scott, this is playable. This is arrangement, structure, the flow is really feeling done. Max, soft clipper is like a limiter that makes a peak, that hits the peaks and gives it a sound you can hear when the peaks hit. So like a little tiny bit of like kind of distortion when it's hitting the limiter threshold, which you could get in glue compressor by turning on the extra switch. Let me show you this. Audio effects, favorites. Sometimes push is slow. So if you use glue compressor and you turn on the soft clipping switch, leave the threshold all the way up and have your attack time and release super short like that. Then what you can do is drive a signal up into this glue compressor from something before it, like utility or whatever, and only use that clipping soft clip switch. And when this little yellow light comes on, you'll be able to hear it. So that's a place you could test what it sounds like if you want it for like that analog flavor of audible distortion, rounded top limiter. Is it close to tube or tape saturation? I would not say that. No, tube and tape saturation are both kinds of things that creep in slowly, and you can hear a range of distortion as it gets more and more, which also would happen with soft clipping, but people usually use the clipping as like a much more subtle thing that's not as obvious. But what you should really do is rack up a glue compressor and just jack some signal into it. Just take a kick drum and just keep turning it up and up and up and up and up and hearing it. And then you'll get the idea of what soft clipper is doing and what other kinds of distortion might compare to it. Damn, Scott, version 1, you put a lot of work into making this track because I don't really hear a lot of stuff that needs to change. I forgot to... I really like this part where the bass line changes like in a chorus, and I'm glad you did that more than once. I wanted to make sure I heard that. And that low bass note right here.
My city's on fire. My city's on fire. My city's on fire.
That G, that last note G, can you push that up louder in the bass? Just EQ that one note up, 97, 100 hertz, something.
City's on fire. My city's on fire. My city's on fire.
So that one note G could be heavier, louder, deeper, boom, like a big bass bloob at the end of that phrase.
My city's on fire.
Yes, I said bass bloob, which is not really a word. And you're doing that for a remix, which is due on the 21st, I saw. So you should have time to get make another mix, bring it back, and maybe don't push the master channel. If you could give us like a pre-master, I can turn it up louder for playback, and then we'll get a clear picture of what you wanted for your sound design. Or the question is, do you want that soft clipping thing as part of the sound of the track you're creating? Or was that just something that happened when you were exporting a test mix? That's what I want to know. Now I think I'll bend my reality in between taking time to laser me a little piggy. Sheps knows all the distortion tools, right? Whoa, what's that noise? Oh, Morton, thank you. Soft clippers in the plugin thread. Whoa. Well, that reverb, the rumble and the reverb. I'll wait a little bit, but first impression was there's too much reverb on the rumble. Vocal 2.3K. Shh, shh. Okay, Scott says, you want a little soft clipping, maybe not as much as there is now. I didn't hear it as a problem at all. I guess it was noticeable, but the track sounded good the way it was. It didn't sound like, you know, sometimes we hear tracks that are way over compressed on the master channel. This was not that kind of thing at all, so I think you got away with it. Yeah, Oliver, fucking great ears to pick that out, man. This part's nasty right here. That sound. Watch out for that 1K screechy stuff, 900 hertz.
Unlock your mind. Unlock your mind.
Who said that?
Unlock your mind. Unlock your mind.
I'm getting high frequency overload. Yeah, so the rumbliness is overpowering the kick drum, and there's not enough of like a bass kick coming through. And that lead synth is creeping up a little too big at 950-ish. Max, thank you for hanging out. Oh, by the way, can you send me the graphics, the square black and white graphic for the compilation cover when you get a chance? That would be awesome. Thank you. So there's some tonal stuff that needs to happen with the low is bigger, the mid melody thing coming down a bit. But structure-wise and vibe, I hear what you're doing and it's sounding cool. Yeah, that lead is getting to be a little repetitive. Oh shit, I didn't see your question. I gotta check that, sorry. Did you ask that in Discord or in email? Probably email. Matt, yeah, top synth too often. All right, Max, thank you.
But you can still hear it. When you focus your spirit.
Those vocals are crazy. Okay, I'm gonna do a little EQ here. Trying to bring up the bass bottom of the kick drum and get rid of some of that rumble. Yeah, If you can work on the layering, and maybe just play with the volume on the rumble layers and the rumble reverb and get some bass out of that reverb from the very opening, and make sure the kick is clearly coming through as a big bottom pulse. That's the main thing that has to happen first. And then number two, this one lead sound is that one. 950 with 960 hertz. It's a little screechy and it's kind of too often. And there's a lot of other layers you could play with, so you don't have that in there. And there's other things coming in. That sound. Gotcha. Kind of threw this together to see how it lands. It definitely landed. Get it sounding. Can I just say make it sound like Shepard's? Yeah, check that thing we were talking about earlier. 160 hertz, 200, 250, something around there, 280. I like the groove, you know? That's amazing. Okay, listen to this little part coming up right here when the drums drop out. Right there. That's exactly where the womb has way too much low. I'm gonna hit the low EQ right here again. Right here. So whatever that womb layer is, don't let that creep down in the sub. Because that bump right there at 40.8 hertz, that low bump is taken away from your kick drum and giving me stress. Ow. Jens, bam, love this. Just want this when it's ready. Shepard is kick, anchoring, everything. And then all the other elements are just slaves to the kick drum. We are all. All right, that's it for track feedback today. But I'm going to hit up OSP for my little outro music, because I know I can talk on top of it, and this track is so smooth. So, hey, good job every day. Everybody's coming out with tracks that are, number one, 90% playable already, and number two, fixable. And I remember back in the day, in the Facebook group, we would have tracks and track feedback from people that were just so widely unplayable. It was like, I don't even know how to tell the person to fix it. It's like, eesh. But now people are coming out with this music. They're showing up like, yeah, here's version 1. What do you think? And we're like, what the hell? It's sounding really good and getting really done and making me very excited for putting out some of this stuff on the Mix and Texture label. So remember, June 24th is our release of our techno compilation. I got the masters back from Piv. They're sounding really, really good. For people in the Discord group, last night I recorded a little 30-second video on my phone of me listening to the masters and telling the name of the track, the name of the artist, and the release date. Can you go to Discord in our release channel, look at the drive link, check those videos, and tell me if you can do something like that with your tracks? I think that would be fun, and those would be great things to promote starting like next week, to just push those out as Instagram stories, Facebook stories, and feed posts and stuff, to start introducing the music, giving little snippets of it, and also introducing the people, you know, because I want people, other people in the audience, to see that we have a compilation, but understand like, oh, here are the individuals inside of it. They all have their own story and personality, which contributes to their sound. And the more you can make a bond of like who's making the music and why they're making the music and what it sounds like, the more it becomes interesting, and then people want to support. So that's my theory on that. Okay, comments on that. The Goom is going to get feedback Saturday. Yeah, I did not go into the Grown Out of Minimal, that whole channel. There was a lot of stuff in there, and it's a lot of long and slow stuff, and we're already at an hour and a half, so I do want to cover those, and I'm super interested in how they're sounding. So let's leave that for Saturday. And for everybody watching, courses.mixandtexture.com, especially check out how to EQ your tracks if you need to learn this at all. The course is fantastic. There are some deep level documents I wrote about audio engineering theory, structure and function of EQs, frequency range, human hearing, things that'll give you the understanding of knowing how to EQ which frequencies and be sure that you're doing it right so you don't waste a lot of time. And then what I'm doing to support that is some live workshops on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon, where I can go in and teach the stuff we talk about in track feedback relevant to EQing, so you can learn actually how to do the stuff we hear about. How Cut before you boost. What does that mean? You're going to find out. The frequency sweep technique. How do you pull out the places in the track where, or in the sound where things need to change? You're going to find that out. And specific things like how to EQ your reverbs, how to EQ your stereo drum mix, how to EQ vocals. We're going to do that. How to mix your kicks and sub, which always takes some EQing and filtering. And when I say EQing, that includes auto filter, high pass filter, low pass filter, band pass filter, all the tools we have in live to work with frequency. I'll be showing you those tools with examples from my tracks of how I apply those tools on kicks, bass lines, snare drums, hi-hats, drum loops, vocals, pianos, synths, chords, leads, stabs and plucks and effects. Scott Burke owes me an email reply. Yes, I guess you do. I'm not too worried about that. I'm just afraid about DJ Waters turning into a goon. So yeah, thanks for keeping up on the comm. I know life is hectic for everybody. It's hectic for me. We all have 20 million projects going on. But if we all just put a little bit of energy into the promo and communication for the Mixotexture compilation, I think the release can be successful enough, and we'll build on that and improve all of our systems to the point where we can put something out once a month with all the tracks that you guys are making that are amazing and have a nice little following. So that's the plan for right now. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow at noon on this YouTube channel for more of the EQing workshop. All right? All right. Any last harassment I have to look at? All right, bye.